Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's a Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. Now, as far as Smackdown does go, I would just say it was just a meh show. I'll be completely honest, and for some reason, Twitch closed on me. There we go, now I got the Twitch chat up. Smackdown was just meh. Like, it was easy to watch, but easy to watch in the sense of, I could sit here and have it on in the background, and if I miss something, I probably didn't miss anything important. Or if I'm not paying too much attention, okay, I'll see the end of the match and then know who wins. And in like half of the matches tonight, it was inconsequential anyways, as far as who won or lost, to be very, very honest. Like, SmackDown was just all right. Like, if I was voting with you guys in the polls, I would vote SmackDown was just all right. Now, there was nothing outrageously egregious that I would say, oh my God, that was like the worst thing ever. Or that sucks so bad. Like, Jade's promo wasn't good. But Jade's not the greatest promo anyways, even though they tried to be putting her in movies and whatnot. But like, she comes off just as somebody that you can tell she's super scripted and not the best actress. Not the best at reading lines. Now, we have seen Jade talk where you can tell she's not fully scripted, and she's better that way. Some people are just better when they're not scripted. Some people are just better when they're not remembering and reciting lines. Kind of like Logan Paul. Logan Paul, you could tell when he's overly scripted, he gets into this character and he gets this dialect in the way he talks that just doesn't seem realistic. But like when he was supposed to be a babyface, I guess you would say at one point, it was actually pretty good. And you could tell he was just giving bullet points. You could tell he was talking in a way where he wasn't remembering and trying to recite lines. So the whole thing, SmackDown was just all right. Like, again, if I was voting with you guys, I would vote it was just all right. But with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, iHeartRadio, Radio, and so much more. I don't know why I said it like that. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out over on SmackDown. You know, or not on SmackDown. Someone put SmackDown in the chat. Trey did, and so I read that as I said. Over on YouTube, help us out over there. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos, when we go live, and we post to the community tab. Also, remember you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to our graphics tutorials, our graphics packages, badge next to your name, emotes and emojis, and so much more. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over. I got this itch on my back. You know when you got like an itchy spot on your back, and it's in that one just small space where you can't reach going this way, and you can't reach going that way? Hold on. That's what you get. Tripod selfie stick deal. There we go. Oh, man. Oof. Wow. That's better. Anywho, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. And for some reason, I've lost my notes. Give me 2 seconds here. Boom. 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 There we go. As far as SmackDown is go, well, actually, first we got some bit donations from Esports Gaming Rules. He says, great crowd saluting Trick Williams at Gamecock Country. And they have the Gamecock mascot with Trick Williams and Lil Yachty. Well, that's where Trick played college football. That's where Trick played college football. So it's his old stomping grounds. He's from South Carolina, so it all just worked out. Really, really great reaction opening this show for him, too, from this crowd. He says, is WWE teasing a tag team of Sami Zayn and Johnny Gargano? Probably not. I can see where you would think that, but I don't think that's the route they're going, no. I mean, they've done 2 weeks in a row now of Sami talking to Johnny, but it's more just like, if you know, you know, they go back way back before they were both in WWE. And so it's like they have this friendship and they know each other very well. So it's like Sami feels like Johnny's somebody he can confide in, if that makes sense. But I don't think they're teasing a tag team, no. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. He says, also one other one, Charlotte Flair shutting up Jade Cargill in Flair Country is just good. They called it Flair Country, but it's South Carolina. Really Flair Country? I know North Carolina is Flair Country, but is South Carolina really Flair Country? I guess just the Carolinas are Flair Country, I guess you would say. I guess just the Carolinas in general. Give me 1 second. Why did that not want to work? As far as the show does go, we get a recap of everything that went down last week with Cody Rhodes basically wanting Gunther and Paul Heyman telling him, hey, you gotta get Gunther to sign the contract. We then see Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, and R-Truth, the MFT, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Jade Cargill, and crew all entering the building. Then we get a shot of Trick Williams, the hometown hero, in the middle of the Gamecock Stadium. We went to a recap, like I said, of last week and of Backlash. The night then kicks off with the arrival of the U.S. champion. Great reaction, huge, massive reaction from the hometown crowd. Big whoop that Trick chants loudly fill the arena. I forget what the name of his Colonial something, Colonial Life maybe. Williams said he's proud of representing WJ Keenan High School. I was like, oh, that's cool. You got the high school shout out. And the University of South Carolina growing up. Williams said that he remembered driving up the road to his favorite restaurant, Kiki's. Hold on, I can barely see my notes on the prompter when I do that. Kiki's Chicken and Waffles, I think I wrote. Yeah, Kiki's Chicken and Waffles with the chicken wings. So good that you had to eat them while standing up. He recounted eating these mythical chicken wings and how they related to his now famous lemon pepper steppers. His lemon pepper steppers. You see goddamn Kevin Knight trying to be Trick Williams a couple weeks ago. He did this video where he's like, hey, get a shot of the shoes, get a shot of the shoes. And he's talking with like the Trick Williams dialect. I'm like, what the fuck? Kevin Knight thinks he's Trick? Because like Kevin Knight, good talker, but he never like talks like that, like Trick does, and never does the whole shoes thing. When he's like, hey, get a shot of the shoes, baby, or something like that. I was like, why are you trying to be Trick Williams? Why you trying to be old Trick Williams, bruh? It was weird. It was very weird. So Williams talked about his family being in the crowd as he recounted his days as a Gamecock. So to WJ Keenan, to USC, to his mama, Williams declared himself as the star. What did he say? Something like the star they helped create or something like that. He was born in this area, or he was born and bred here. Miz then comes out, makes fun of the Gamecock and the gingerbread man. Miz said that Williams was being presented as a joke by bringing out all these costumed characters. He was not 100% wrong. Lil Yachty then stepped up and told Miz and Kit Wilson that they were being disrespectful to the hometown hero, as he pointed out that this was the reason why Miz was cursed by Danhausen. Kit Wilson joined in, did some slam poetry, called himself Kitty Willie, or Kit Willie. Yachty didn't like any of this, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And then eventually it's just built to Trick versus Miz. Like they just kept on yammering. It kind of got a little overdid, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like the talking and the yammering and all the back and forth. As far as the match does go, first match of the night, we kick things off after a break. Also, goddamn Netflix not letting me use the VPN for the live streams. As far as like, I can use a VPN, go to a different country with the VPN, and I'm going to get the YouTube, I guess, VOD content of that country. Like in the US, we don't get the Rookie on Netflix, but I can go to another country and get the Rookie, no problem. But it doesn't let me watch any live stuff with a VPN, which is interesting. It's now the second time that it has done this. I don't know if it's doing it for anybody else. Well, actually, I do, because one other person, when I tweeted that out, said that happened to them. It said same for me. So very interesting. Very interesting. Anyways, disrespectful Miz shoved Trick very hard, pushed him to the ground. Williams fired back up and blasted Miz with a flying shoulder block and sent his foe into the apron. At one point, Miz responded with a kitchen sink strike, followed by a running boot to a seated Williams. Miz choked Williams. Choked Williams across the middle ropes. Miz then held control. He stomped on Williams, but he missed a running boot. Williams turned that into a jumping neck breaker. We got to whoop that Trick chant here as he was stomping him. Whoop that Trick. Whoop. I like that. The whoop that Trick stomp. He's stomping to the beat. Stomping to the beat. I thought that worked very well. Miz then got out of the ring. Miz missed a sliding drop kick to the outside, and Williams threw him around into the barricade. Behind the referee's back, Wilson struck Williams with a running elbow as Miz finally connected with a rope-assisted sliding drop kick. We took another break. Towards the end of the match here, Miz tried to use Miz tried to use a kendo stick, but Lil Yachty stopped him. Lil Yachty intercepted it, stole the weapon. Yachty then blasted Kit Wilson with the kendo stick instead. And meanwhile, in the ring, Williams blasted Miz with a trick shot knee and pinned him 1, 2, 3. It was fine. Nothing bad, but nothing all that great either. Like, nothing bad to say about it, but nothing great to say about it. Messi, yes. A week from tomorrow is Saturday night's main event. Penta is the star of that show, basically. He's the poster. Penta is on the poster. Moving forward. Backstage, Carmelo Hayes was interviewed about his upcoming match with Ricky Saints tonight. Ricky then interrupted, and they just talked crap back and forth. And then Melo goes, hey, I was like you. Came from NXT and thought I was the guy. I thought I was undefeatable. I thought, nothing could stop me. But I was humbled. The main roster humbles you like it's going to humble. And it humbled me like it's going to humble you. Ricky Saints continued to trash talk Hayes as he left, saying, like, looking into a dirty mirror. I think Melo said that. Like looking into a dirty mirror. So then we get a weird little 2-second thing where Nick Aldis is like, hey, Phoenix, we're very glad to see the things you're doing. AAA, they're a buzz about you. And he's like, yes, I'm going to go to AAA and really do some really good things. And then Ray just disappears. I don't know what that was all about. Sammy then comes up and goes, Nick, I need a rematch for the U.S. title. I know I lost at Backlash. Don't look at that. But I need a rematch for the U.S. title. And Nick Aldis is like, Sammy, you want a rematch? You know what you're going to have to do, right? You have to earn that rematch. Sammy goes, wait, what I've done the last couple of weeks doesn't make me earn a rematch, deserve a rematch? What I've done the last couple of months, years, throughout my entire career, I don't just deserve a rematch? And basically, Nick Aldis calls him entitled. Zayn looked like he was going to blow a gasket, but then Rey Fenix returned and tried to calm things down. Zayn was delusional and didn't think anything of this. So I like Sami playing the entitled little whiny bitch. He's playing it very well. Sami Zayn is playing a good, entitled little whiny bitch. Esports Gaming Rules with a bit donation. He says, what do you think of the possibility of AEW not having their TV deal renewed by Paramount Skydance when the merger with WWD is complete? That's something that really we're not going to know till the end of 2027. They're under contract till the end of 2027. Now, yes, that contract could be canceled early. I mean, most TV contracts are in favor of the network, where the network can just be like, we're canceling you. It's possible, but at the same time, it's like we don't know. There's a couple things to look at here. So don't take any of this for gospel or that I know something or no. This is just like things that we need to look for as far as when it comes to AEW, Paramount, and everything. First off, the deal has not even been like made official. It still needs to get approved in multiple different facets. So really, we don't even know if this is going to happen. It's most likely going to happen. It's most likely going to get approved, but there is a chance it gets struck down. Now, the other question is, we don't know who from WBD is going to remain with the new company, who's going to go and work for Paramount Skydance and whatever this new entity is going to be called, whether it's just Paramount Skydance, whether it's Paramount DD, WB Paramount, I don't know. But we don't know who is going to remain from WBD. If there is somebody that is a huge Tony Khan AEW supporter that's going to fight to keep AEW, that would fight and could fight for AEW, that's another big question. It's like, we don't know who's still going to remain that could be a not foe, a ally for AEW. That's the other big thing to look at that I don't think many people are talking about. Everyone's just saying, oh, they're going to go to Paramount and Larry Elson's going to can them. Not necessarily, because again, you don't know who's going to come over and still work for the company from the merger of the WBD side. I don't know why I said it like the WBD side. So that's another thing. They could have allies in their favor with power and pull and keep them going. But the big thing to look at is they're easy, not super expensive, first run programming, 52 weeks a year. Television networks like that, especially live appointment viewing content. Stuff that's not always, oh, I got to watch it with the VPN. I mean, not VPN, on DVR. I can't, well, wrestling is mostly got to watch live. Networks like that. And so here's the thing. They've got the deal till 2027 with an option to pick them up in 2028. Now, if for some reason Paramount says, we want wrestling, but we don't want a lot of wrestling. Maybe there's an option where they say, we'll keep Dynamite, but get rid of Collision. We only want one show. We only want the 2 hours. We don't want 4 hours. There's that possibility too that I haven't seen anybody bring up. We've already seen them have shows get canceled. I mean, Rampage. True, granted, Rampage was just done in favor, canceled in favor of Collision. And they don't want 3 shows, but the Battle of the Belts was also canceled. It's a whole thing. We don't know what kind of things Paramount wants. Everyone's just like, Paramount's in bed with TKO. TKO is going to tell them to can AEW. Not necessarily. I don't think that's as easy as everyone's trying to say. There's too many factors that we don't have answers for. There's too many things to look at here that we don't know is going to be in or not in favor of AEW. Again, like I said, we don't know if they even want to keep any wrestling. If they do, how much wrestling. We don't know if somebody from WWD is going to move over to the new company and be in favor of them and keep them, get them a new deal. Say, hey, no, they're reliable, great programming. And it's not super expensive because it's like they're not getting WWE money. They're getting a good TV deal. But that's the other question. What if Paramount goes, all right, we're going to finish out your 2027. We'll pick up the 2028, or we're going to renegotiate. We don't want to pay you as much. Then the question goes, well, what does Tony think of that? That's the other factor that I haven't heard anybody say. What if Paramount says, we'll keep you, but at a lesser rate? We'll keep you, but you're not going to make as much. Does Tony say, okay, I'll stay? Or does Tony go, I'll take your offer. I'll shop around. That's the other thing you got to look at too. There's, again, one last thing. I'll say it again. I've said this 3 times now. There are too many factors that we don't know what the outcome could be. There's a lot of questions, but no answers that can be answered at this time. So in the back, Paige and Brie Bella were interviewed before their upcoming match. It was clear that the target was on their backs now more than ever. The Irresistible Forces interrupted and said they're coming for them. They don't want to face any other tag team for the titles. They want to face them because they're the ones that beat them. They're the ones that took the titles from them, and they want to take it back from them. So then we had tag team action here. I don't believe it was titles on the line. Brie Bella and, well, it really didn't matter always. Well, Brie and Paige did it. Whatever. I don't think it was title match. They never said it was title match, but it was Brie Bella and Paige versus Julia and Kiana James. James and Brie opened up the match. Also, they've got a name. They're called Scream Mode. Brie Bella and Paige are called Scream Mode, and they got t-shirts. Scream Mode with t-shirts. So like I said, James and Brie started off the match for their teams. James avoided a big boot and hit a Russian leg sweep. Paige then tagged in as she and Brie showed some nice double team offense. Julia then entered in the ring with Paige. There were some strikes in the corner. Julia then hit a snap suplex that kind of landed Paige on the back of her head. It was like a short snap suplex where she didn't really fully get Paige up all the way, it looked like. I don't know. Paige recovered here, hit a version of a Shining Wizard after a snapmare on Julia. Paige then struck Julia with some kicks across the chest, but James tripped her up on the apron. Every time I saw Kiana James with Paige in this match, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, she looked like she was being a little extra cautious with Paige. After a commercial break, Julia continued to take it to Paige on the ropes. Julia had her opponent set up for something, I'm not sure what, and Paige fought out of it. She had a sunset flip powerbomb. Paige struggled to get to her corner. Brie got the hot tag. Brie went for Brie Mode as she blasted both James and Julia with knee strikes. Brie then hit some Bryan Danielson style it kicks and a Bella Buster on James. Julia then broke up the pin though. Going towards the end of the match, tagged by Julia as James hit Brie with a lung blower, followed by a Northern Lights bomb from Julia. Paige then broke up the count. James accidentally sent a running Paige into Julia, which took her out of the ring. With James's partner now out of the equation, Paige finished everything off with a rampage. 1, 2, 3. The tag champions win. Not the best of matches, but it wasn't like horrible or anything. It was just there. Again, another match that was just there. And that was the theme of tonight's show. It was like, it's Friday. We got to do a Smackdown. Let's just get through it. Everything's going to be just there. The Women's United States Champion, Tiffany Stratton, was interviewed in the back. Talked about, alliances and people being aligned with other people. Chelsea Green then showed up. She started talking to Tiffany. Tiffany was kind of ignoring her and was like, yeah, we're never meant to be a team. King. Then Cody Rhodes came down to the ring. He was looking for some answers from Gunther. The Undisputed Champion made his way down. Rhodes threw some office chairs into the ring and basically set it for a contract signing on his own. He said, Columbia, South Carolina. What do you want to talk about? Rhodes then said, this is going to get a little formal ingredients. There's a contract signing here. I think Gunther come out here and sign this. They want to fight his ass and clash in Italy. Gunther come out right now. And out came the Green General to the top of the ramp. He angrily asked Rhodes about how much time it took to get his roster transfer and how Rhodes made it about himself like a typical American. Gunther pointed out how Rhodes was supposedly complaining and crying every week and made it all about himself. All Gunther wanted out of Rhodes was to be professional, stating that, that's nicely, and maybe I'll sign the contract. Rhodes responded by saying that Gunther was the one who got the drop on him and that he was the one who made the favor with Paul Heyman. Rhodes said, quote, please come sign the contract so that you're guaranteed to get your ass kicked at Clash in Italy. Gunther said that Rhodes didn't mean it when he said it, as he unexpectedly was interrupted by Royce Keys, who goes, hey, I want a title shot. If you're not going to sign the contract, I will. And Keys made his way down to the ring. Keys and Cody looked at each other. Keys grabbed the pen, went to sign the contract, but Gunther jumped in and stopped him at the very last second. Nick Aldis then comes out. Nick goes, gentlemen, I like what's going on here, so we're going to do something. Gunther, you took too much time. You've lost your opportunity. You're going to get another opportunity. Tonight, in our main event, Gunther will fight Royce Keys. The winner will then challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at Clash in Italy. Gunther was beside himself. Gunther was angry with Nick Aldis about this. Rhodes simply told Keys the same thing he told Gunther last week, quote, I'm easy to find, but hard to beat. Oh, this was good. Built up a number one contender match for our main event. And it's establishing Royce Keys. He's not a guy that's going to be challenging for the world title right now, but he's more than just a guy on the roster. He's more than just someone in the mid-card floating around just doing stuff. They're gonna push him. And he's gonna be a prominent fixture on SmackDown going forward, is what they told us here. Even in losing to Gunther. Like, I wouldn't have cared either way if it was Gunther or Royce Keys who won, but the story they've been telling for the last couple of weeks is Gunther, so it's just like, okay, whatever. Solo Sikoa was there with Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga. Basically, Tama Tonga was just watching the monitor and going like this and listening to Solo. And Solo was like, the job tonight is you got to take out Damian Priest. Yeah, screw the tag titles. We can go for the tag titles anytime. But Truth is injured, so Priest is all by himself, and you need to take him out. And then you got the marching orders. You understand? And Tama Tonga was just like, yeah, sure. And so Solo and Tala Tonga leave. Nakamura comes up. He's basically like, what's going on here? I know you've already changed. I know you don't want to listen to him. Do your thing. Basically is what he told them. And then Tala Tonga, she shoots in out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, from the right. And takes out Nakamura, puts him through a table, cargo crates or whatever, and away we go. Which is leading to next week on SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura against Tala Tonga, which should be an interesting matchup. Nick Aldis was with Gunther in the back. Gunther's pissed off, saying, hey, no, I already had the opportunity. I already had the title match set in stone. I just had to sign the contract. And Nick goes, exactly. And you didn't. You took your time and you lost that opportunity. Now, you want it? Earn it. That's basically what he told him. He said, you played too many games. Maybe Paul Heyman has rubbed off on you a little bit too much. We then got Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints. This was one of the better matches of the night. Like, the main event was the best match of the night. And it was probably number 2. Not probably, it was number 2. Saints got the upper hand with a cheap shot on Hayes as the bell rang. Hayes recovered, but missed a front drop kick. Saints then wrenched the arm of Hayes and went up top for the old school, and it connected. Saints then was sent onto the apron by Hayes and left in position for a springboard drop or leg drop. Hayes then went for a Fosbury flop that left Saints down as we go to a break. When the match returned for the commercial break, Hayes pushed Saints off the top rope to get the maximum hang time off a frog splash for a 2. Hayes attempted the first 48, but Saints blocked it. At one point, Hayes broke free of a hold from Saints with a super kick. A couple super kicks, actually. And then followed this up with a springboard forearm strike as he had Saints in his sights. The Dirty Diana from Hayes, but Saints kicked out at 2. Saints hit Hayes with the boot to the face, followed by a rebound back suplex for a 2. A frustrated Saints tried to lift Hayes up, but he really couldn't. There's a couple of stomps from Saints, and finally he hit the Revolution DDT. It was reversed and turned into a first 48 from Mello. He went for the pin, and holy crap, did Ricky not kick out to the very, 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 very last millisecond. It was a great, great near fall. Hayes then struggled to get himself back up, and he got to the top rope, but missed a nothing but net. Saints then followed this up with the Revolution DDT, but Hayes somehow kicked out at the very last second himself. Good sequence here. Coming down towards the end of the match, Saints failed to hit a Rochambeau, so he pushed Hayes into the turnbuckle and tried to go for the rope-assisted pin, I guess you would say. Referee Charles Robinson noticed it and knocked the feet down, told him to get him off, stopped the count. Saints then argued with the referee as Hayes snuck up from behind and rolled him up 1, 2, 3. He used the bottom ropes for leverage. Ref didn't see it, so he used Ricky's game against him and beat him. Earl Hayes picks up the victory. Solid TV match. Danhausen was then in his lab. I guess he was trying to make more clones. He said something about things being even bigger, better, and larger. So we're going to get a life-size clone. I take that back. Not life-size. Never mind. I don't know how to say this to not sound offensive. I'm just going to say that. Non-mini size. There we go. Non-mini size clone. I don't know. It was more of a, oh shit, we got nothing for Danhausen this week. Let's figure something out. Which is kind of interesting how little and kind of an afterthought Danhausen felt. And maybe he wasn't there. We don't know. Sometimes wrestlers get put on shows because they film something like a week before because they know they're not going to be at a show, and they do something very minimal. Something like Damian Priest versus Tama Tonga. Decent match, but nothing special. Like, at all. Two good workers. They're not going to mess anything up, especially working together. But it was nothing special at all. Crowd was barely into it. Tama went right after Priest as the bell rang. Soon found himself being pummeled in the corner. At one point, Tama intercepted Priest with a dive off the steel steps. My notes are all kinds of jumbled up here. After a commercial break, Priest had Tama stunned in the corner. He then attempted a razor's edge, and Tama turned it into a rear naked choke as Priest broke the hold, backing him into the corner. Tama then got Priest with a jumping DDT for a near fall. Priest withstood some shots from Tama, which didn't really do too much to him. There's a step over shoulder block by Priest, followed by a spinning kick. At one point, Priest sent Tama over the announce table on the outside with the pounce as he sent him back into the ring afterwards. Priest headed up top and kind of lost his balance for a second, which allowed Tama to get a swinging neckbreaker for a 2. Tama then went for a double underhook maneuver, but Priest got ahead of it and blocked it. Tama then escaped the hold, but he hit a rebound lariat. Straps came down, and so did Tama. South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3. So Damian Priest picks up the victory, and as soon as the match ends, boom, there's Tama Tonga to blast Damian Priest and beat him down. Solo then got Priest with the Samoan Spike. No R-Truth or Royce Keys to make the save. And I forgot a segment here. So there's a segment earlier where R-Truth walks up to Royce Keys and was like, "Hey, brother, what's up? We're working on the clubhouse, getting the new Judgment Day. You want to be a member?" And Keys is like, "I didn't remember the Judgment. What, huh? No, I'll think about it. Whatever. Cool." And Priest comes up. Now, this is crucial. He goes, "Well, what are you doing? I'm not even going to ask you what do you think was the Judgment Day. Well, what are you doing talking to Royce Keys?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Royce Keys, you don't think he's part of the MFTs? You don't think he's secretly one of them?" It's interesting that the MFTs beat up everybody. They beat up me. They beat you up so bad that you're not even allowed to go to the ring because you're not cleared. But the one guy they don't touch is Royce Keys. Royce Keys has never been beat up by the MFTs. Does that sound a little fishy to you? So Damian Priest is skeptical of Royce Keys and his alliance with Solo. But my question is like, what the fuck is this whole Solo keeps telling Royce Keys, "You got history with our family." Da da da. I was like, what history? Him and fucking Jacob working the Northern California Indies together forever? I mean, I don't understand any of that. That makes no sense. You got a history with our family. Whatever. Jade comes out with her baddies. Cargo got into the ring and she's like, cut this. She's like, cut my music. And she says, everyone in this building, they all try to act tough. They really ain't tough. She said, when her music hits, everybody seems to become quiet. They're scared of me. Rhea Ripley found this out the hard way. And at Clash at Italy, the Women's Championship's coming back home. So without officially announcing it, they kind of announced we're getting a WrestleMania rematch, Jade, Rhea for the title at Clash in Italy. Before Cargill could really say anything else, in just this weird way she's talking tonight, Charlotte Flair comes out. Alexa Bliss comes out. They talk crap. They say how they're in Flair country. Now, we already knew that Flair and Bliss would be taking on Michin and B-Fab tonight in a match, so Cargill said, we've been doing this dance for a few years now. Last week, you pissed me off. Bliss stated that B-Fab and Michin were there to make Cargill look good, even though they don't. Cargill then said, you know what? You guys are all supposed to fight. Can we get a referee down here and just get this over with? It wasn't good at all. None of this was good. And then, so we go into the tag team match. It's Charlotte and Alexa versus B-Fab and Michin, right? Why the hell was, and maybe I missed something, why was Joe Tess over and over calling Alexa Blisser? Blisser. Oh, Blisser's got tagged in. Oh, Blisser took down B-Fab. Like, why is he calling her Blisser? I didn't understand that. So, Flair got it going with Michin early on. Tossed her around the ring. Michin, grabbed hold of the ropes to get out of the ring. Once Michin got back in the ring, Flair again dropped her with a takedown. There's a shot to the back of the leg that turned everything around. Flair recovered and threw Michin into the corner as she hit her with a chop and a step-up boot. Bliss and B-Fab got tagged in, and, well, Bliss kind of had the better of her. Michin distracted Bliss, though, at one point, which allowed B-Fab to get the advantage as she punched her repeatedly. Bliss countered with a boot and went up top with a diving attack. B-Fab then caught her and slammed her face first as we go to commercial break. When we return for the break, Michin and B-Fab were isolating Blisser on their side of the ring, as Joe Test told us. Michin intercepted Bliss and hoisted her up on her shoulders. Too much showboating, though, as Michin... from Michin, as this led to Bliss capitalizing with a DDT. At one point, Flair headed to the top rope, but Cargill stepped up on the apron, which allowed B-Fab to trip up Flair. Michin then hit a missile drop kick on Flair as she and B-Fab hit a double pump kick. Bliss then broke up the count. B-Fab then rolled up Flair for another pin attempt, but it got turned into a figure four. Michin then broke up the submission, but found herself clotheslined out of the ring. Bliss then blind tagged herself in as Flair delivered kicks to Michin and B-Fab. There was a Sister Abigail DDT that took way too long to set up and looked kind of awkward. Cargill then pulled her from the pin to cause the DQ finish, though. Not the best of matches. It was, again, just there. Nothing special. Post-match, baddies beat down Flair and Bliss. Again, nothing special. Fatal Influence was interviewed backstage about the success they've sort of had so far as the crowd reactions and everything. And they basically all just said, hey, none of these women were ready for us. None of these women are ready for what we're going to do. And they've taken us, what's the word she said? Basically, we're like, not taking them for granted, that they've overlooked them. Because they didn't think that once they came here, they'd be so dominant. Well, I mean, what kind of dominant? Have they even won anything yet? Great reactions from the crowd, but yeah. Moving forward, Flair and Alexa Bliss were backstage, kind of licking their wounds, and they were like, "We're outnumbered." And Charlotte goes, "Yeah, we are. Where the hell's Rhea this week? Do we even trust her? Do I look like somebody that needs help?" And they were like, you know what, we're just going to go deal with Jade and her girls ourselves. They say that, and then they get a 6-woman announced for Saturday night's main event with Rhea on their team. Go. We got a recap of Jacob Fatu destroying Roman on Raw. No Jacob tonight. It's the first one, I think, since Mania. The first Smackdown since Mania, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, that we haven't seen Jacob. Royce Keys was prepping for his match against Gunther when Solo Sikoa approached him and again offered him a spot in the family. Solo said that Keys should seek his help because what happened to Shinsuke Nakamura wouldn't be too far behind to happen to him as well. Keys calmly just said, "I got this," and left. Solo didn't seem too happy. I noted Jacob said the same thing and couldn't be Roman. The main event, Gunther versus Royce Keys. Winner faces Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at Clash in Italy. So Gunther pushed Keys into the corner early on and pie-faced him. Gunther stepped up to Keys. Once Gunther got out of the ring at one point, then he got back in the ring and hit Keys with a boot to the gut, followed by a chop to the chest. The side headlock by Gunther that was broken by Keys as the two traded running shoulder blocks. Keys finally got Gunther down, got him in a shoulder block, with a shoulder block. There was a bulldog style power slam, I guess you would say, from Royce Keys. Gunther then looked for a breather on the ringside. Keys didn't give him much time to get that breather as he threw him into the dasher boards. Keys then threw Gunther over the announce table as he go into a commercial break. We come back for the commercial break. Keys attempted a suplex on Gunther, who escaped 2 attempts and hit his foe with a chop. However, Keys turned that around for the suplex. Gunther then got out of it, kind of like a knee to the gut kind of thing. Gunther attempted a big boot on the apron, but Keys caught him and dropped him with 3 world's strongest slams, basically, on the announce table. Back in the ring, Gunther caught Keys with a big boot, but failed to connect with a second strike. This gave Keys the brief opening, but not much there. Solo then appeared and seemed to distract Gunther, which allowed Keys to escape a rest hold. He then leveled his opponent with a flying clothesline. Keys made Big E proud here and struck down Gunther with a hard-running lariat for a near fall. Keys then put Gunther on his shoulders, but once again found himself in a sleeper hold. Keys again fought out of it. There was a pounce from Keys that pushed Gunther into the referee, which allowed Sikoa to grab a steel chair and try to give it to Keys. But Keys said, no, thank you. And Keys unfortunately opened him up for a clothesline from Gunther, powerbomb. And Gunther pins him 1, 2, 3. So there we go. Gunther defeats Royce Keys as expected. And we'll face Cody, Clash in Italy. I keep wanting to say Clash in Paris. Then Gunther is like trash talking the camera when all of a sudden Cody shows up from behind, grabs him for a crossroads, and lays him out. So there we go. Cody gets the last words as we're 3 weeks away? 2 weeks away? 3 weeks away from Clash in Italy. That's, ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Smackdown. Just an all right show at best. Nothing special whatsoever. With that, guys, that's what I thought of SmackDown. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah, Banks says over there, I like how strong they made Keys. Yeah, like I said earlier, Keys is like, he's not a guy that they're going to have challenging for the world title right now, especially since Cody's a babyface and they like doing babyface and heel. But we know that he's up there. He's a guy. He's a prominently featured, pushed guy on the blue brand, which is great. As far as these polls do go, though, as far as the Threads poll does go, 47% liked the show, 29% thought it was just all right, and 24% didn't like it. Looking at fucking X does not want to push out polls. One person voted they liked it. Looking at the community poll, 75% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. And finally, as far as the live poll does go, 76% liked the show, 12% thought it was just all right, and 12% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. We might be streaming this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something during like the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano fights tomorrow. Maybe do a game stream / watch along or something. Not sure. But we'll be back for sure Monday night for Monday Night Raw. Have a great weekend, guys.